Some camera companies care about us. They would tuck us in at night if we asked. Sing us a lullaby, if not a bedtime story, one where we're the hero. But other companies, once you buy their product, you're on your own, aren't you? Not many firmware updates coming to you. Who cares what you do with it? You have input on what we should do in our next camera? I don't care. Today we rank the camera companies from would save you from a burning building to would leave you even if a chipmunk was looking at you awkward. They wouldn't even intervene. That's mean.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
Not a lot of people know this, but I've actually hidden a microphone just out of shot. It's roughly in this region. You would never see it because it's camouflage. Now let's get to the companies. We'll start with the best company that cares most about you to the least care. Our good old friend Panny Boy. You're the best. You care the most. You have the least ability to provide what we want, but you listen. You're like, oh, you want this? All right, we'll put it in there. Autofocus improvements? Well, trust me, we're working on it. We got you. We got your back. We'll update it every week. Every week, a new algorithm. Doesn't ever get there where you want it to be, but they put in some shit. Man, my S1 that I used to have, oh man, I watched that thing grow into a Nighthawk. Could do 6K now. It was doing 4K 60p. Like, it didn't have these things. You could do raw external. That shouldn't count. If you need a supercomputer to do it for you, it doesn't count. I actually wrote it down a lot here. It's stupid. Improved autofocus algorithms. Not like usable, but improved to some cultures. Dual native ISO. How'd you add that? It wasn't in there before, and then boom. Oh, super clean. 6400, take that, Sony. Panasonic releases firmware updates that make you wish you had that camera. Like it's a brand new version. It's like a Mark II type of thing. Sometimes they charge you for it. If you want a simple log, they're the only company that charges money for firmwares. That's probably why they're so good. Conniving. Panasonic seems to care the most. If it wasn't for their abysmal autofocus efforts, you would think that they listen the most to customers. Like, they keep adding features that we want, except the autofocus. It's just the one part. It's like a phantom limb. You can't ignore it. You still feel it. It's not like that at all. All right, moving on from the best company that cares the most but can do the least for you. Panasonic, thank you. Canon is the next. They seem to come out with a bunch of, like, they're adding C-Log 3 that wasn't in there. It should have probably, sometimes like these things should have been in at launch, and then they make it seem like they're doing this amazing thing. Oh, we have this. It's like, why wasn't that in there? But whatever. And C-Log 2 isn't in there. Piece of shit. But like, they add that. Less fake overheating is nice. They lowered the limits. They're like, okay, we can cool it with ambient temperature now. We'll turn on the thermometer thing. Sorry, it was disabled. Who disabled that? What? If it was you, they can't see you. It's camouflaged. Your segment's done. It's irrelevant. It makes no sense. You're in front of it, but I'm looking behind. It's not gonna make sense. So don't hit me from there. That would be stupid. Oh, fucking. It's still, how? You're not even on the plane. You are here. I hate you. But Canon, like, improved their IBIS quite a bit in a firmware update. The autofocus changed quite a bit. They put like 8K light versions. I was using that. It was actually pretty easy to edit. I was doing it. 8K IPB. And then like the 4K, they had some lighter versions. It's like, okay, sorry, we can't edit this. Can we? Yeah, they did it. They gave it to us. They care somewhat. They change things. Not very often. Not most of their cameras, just a couple at the high end. You pay for it with your blood, but they do it. I wouldn't say they care a lot about us. They don't really add the things we're asking for. 240 frames per second, I don't see it. Whereas the C-Log 2, I don't get it. They're giving us like 8K, things we don't want, but they do update and change their cameras significantly. So launch to now, it's like, wow, that's a big improvement. So they get a point, a brownie. Next would be Olympus. They literally added phase detect autofocus in a firmware update. I'm not sure why they didn't turn it on to begin with. It was so weird because they're so photography centric that they don't even realize, like, oh, that would probably work really good for video. Okay, let's turn it on. Do you have the key? Do we have to do 2 keys at one? Okay, turn it at the same time. Oh, it blew up. So I don't get that one, why it wasn't in at launch, but they turned it on. They took like a regular contrast detect Panasonic camera and turned it into a Sony. I was like, wow, like that thing's, and it's cheap. It's cheap, and now they're just putting it in everything. Not bad. They put external RAW again. I don't know why I wrote it down. You would never do it. It's external, it's bullshit. If it was internal, you might have something, but you don't, even with your quad pixel new processor. Now Fuji used to care. I'm just paying homage to their prior Japanese ancestry with the Kaizen updates. They used to, like, I'm not even aware of them. They were before my time. I bought into the system, kind of. A flat earth Santa bought into it for me. Thank you so much. I sold it. Oh my God, sorry. I bought it again though. I paid with his money, but it's mine now. Apparently they used to be huge updates. I didn't even look it up. I don't even care. But like the fact that they were known for it for years after too. Like they would release the successor and then like add most of the new features into the old body to not like shame the old people who had no money left and still had this camera. But now what? Now what? The X-T4 has not had one feature added that I remember. They fixed the exposure stepping. It used to go like jumping. And one day they fixed it. They didn't even tell us. It was just like bug fixes. They don't even mention what they fix anymore. So like they've improved some things, but not good. Like, oh, we improved the IBIS or autofocus. You don't notice the features and nothing's ever added. Ever. Not that they need it, they're perfect. So they get a pass. But they used to be so good. And you would hope buying a Fuji X-T4 that it would turn into an X-T6 eventually, but nothing has changed. Imagine if they just gave us something. But it's at the end of the processor's life. It's not capable of doing much more than it already does. So I get it. But the next one better have firmware Kaizens. I'll Kaizen your mom. When it comes to Nikon, they're the smaller runt child of the family. The 2 bigger brothers, Canon and Sony, they ate most of the food. And Nikon, they made it. They made it with less. They got by on less and they learned to live with happiness from just gratitude. They update some shit. The Z9 will get, but they'll get 8K 60p, but they've already announced it. It's like they withheld it on purpose. Does it really count? It doesn't. I'm actually erasing it. Big autofocus improvements on the Z6 and the Z6 II. Not bad. Like they update shit. 8K RAW. No, that's 4K RAW. I'll be honest with you, I don't know much about Nikon, what they do, what they want, who they are. But I've seen things happen, and I wish I had them in my cameras, and I don't. So good on you, Nikon. No one's gonna buy your shit, but someone might. When it comes to the company that cares least about you, or its business partners, that would be Sony, wouldn't it be? Yeah, they're recreating all their Zeiss partnered lenses to replace them and hopefully kill their families by starvation. Nothing. The most expensive camera I've ever looked at. Not one update. Nothing has been added. Sure, it was perfect on day one and didn't need anything. I get it. But man, no animal eye detect. You get all these, they even tease other bullshit cameras with the features you should deserve in other bodies. Like the ZVE-10 has animal eye detect in video. We don't get it. You think I'm gonna downgrade to an 8-bit no IBIS camera for wildlife. What kind of goose would let me film them? I am literally shocked that we're not getting any of these features. The focus breathing compensation, nothing. That bullshit blocky autofocus thing that nobody would ever use, I want it. I could play a game with it of some sort. I could make content with it. Nothing. We get nothing. I mean, there are major bugs in this thing. If you switch from aperture priority photo mode with animal detect on, and then you switch into video mode, animal detect stays on. And it doesn't work in video mode. Why would it stay on? Why is it even in the same category? Then your face, you make stupid videos. I've done it. You can't save a custom white balance in any of the custom modes. You have to go back out to video mode, save it, and then switch back. I think it deletes itself. I've never actually tried it, but I just know that you can't set it in a custom mode. So why save the modes? I don't. I just use the movie mode, which has animal eye detect turned on sometimes for no reason. There's no focus distance scale. When I'm manually focusing, I have no idea if I'm getting closer or further. I have to use my eye. Oh, that tree way over there is becoming sharper. And now it's not. Which direction though? I can't tell. Everything. Right now it says autofocus continuous. If I switch to the viewfinder, that disappears. I have no idea if I'm in manual or not. Boom, manual. Or am I? Or was I in autofocus? I can't tell. The peaking's so weak. Which one am I in? Focus wheel, it's not doing anything. Okay, I'm not. Okay, there it is. That took me 8 minutes. Kingfisher would have had 3 babies in that time, and I missed it. I missed it in 4K 120p, H.265, 422, 10-bit. It edits smoothly. Thank you so much, Sony. You're already perfect. I love you. Send me the 200 to 600, you piece of shit. Little side rant on Sony and their hospitality. Every YouTuber you hear, they say, well, most companies, you reach out to test some gear, they don't really get back to you, but Sony always does. That's right, they do. Whenever I've asked, they've got back to me and said, we don't have it. You're a scrub. So they get back to you. I'm still waiting. The Olympics are over, Sony. Where's my 200 to 600? I don't see it. I don't see it. They invite you into secret Sony reptilian meetings. They don't even give you the gear. The 16 to 35, where's that? And well, fill out this form if you want to test it. I've filled out like 7. Not once have I got the gear. What am I filling out the form? Where do they go? To penguins in the Atlantic Sea. Not to the people who need them, who will get me the gear. That's your problem, phone. That's on you, Sony. So get your shit together. Update the Sony a7S III to have animal eye detect in video, focus breathing mode, and add something new. Some new shit that's not in any other camera. Pretend that you love us. I think they hate this camera. They immediately released the FX3 to show how much they hated this one. And now anybody who bought it is punished with no firmware updates forever. It's not a world I want to live in. Not a reptilian world. Not in that dungeon. I'm gonna leave. Do you agree? Who's the best? Which camera companies care most about us and which least? I didn't count GoPro because they're stupid. Or Blackmagic. They don't count. They don't produce anything I would want. Give me something. IBIS or autofocus, one of them. Back button focus maybe, and a viewfinder. Make either a wildlife or a YouTuber's camera, or back off. I'm gonna go. You subscribing? There's not a lot of valuable information coming, as you've sawn today. Sawn isn't a word. My editor will cut that out. I edit the videos. Okay, what was that? 23 minutes. Chop that off. You can't see the microphone.